Throughout history, humanity has carried both the marks of light and the shadows of darkness. On one side stand art, science, discovery, and the rise of civilizations. On the other, bloody wars, destruction, and suffering. In every era, the same questions echo. Why do we fight? Why can't we preserve peace? And why do we repeat the same mistakes over and over again? This text is a journey into humanity's ancient relationship with war. By exploring its historical, psychological, economic, cultural, and technological dimensions, we will question whether peace is truly possible. Wars lie in the struggle for survival. As human communities grew, resources became limited. Conflicts over water, land, food, and hunting grounds gave birth to the earliest wars in history. The city-states of Mesopotamia, the kingdoms along the Nile, and the nomadic tribes of Central Asia often clashed over farmland or trade routes. These wars were fought to meet humanity's most basic needs. From a psychological perspective, war is rooted in the division between us and them. The human mind becomes aggressive when defending group identity against external threats. Social psychology calls this the in-group versus out-group conflict. Fear, insecurity, and the desire for superiority are the psychological engines of war. When humans feel unsafe, they attack. When they seek dominance, they conquer. Religion has rarely been the direct cause of war, but often served as its justification. The Crusades, the Ottoman-Safavid conflicts, and Europe's 30 Years' War are examples where religion cloaked political and economic interests. When people believe they are fighting for a sacred cause, violence becomes easier to accept. Thus, religion has fueled the spiritual motivation behind wars. Economics is perhaps the strongest trigger of war. Nations have fought over oil, gold, trade routes, and industrial regions. Germany's expansionist policies in World War II were directly tied to its desire for economic resources. In the modern era, energy supplies, technological dominance, and global trade remain at the heart of conflict. Ideologies also stand at the center of wars. The Cold War is the most striking example. The ideological rivalry between capitalism and communism led to hot conflicts from Korea to Vietnam. Ideologies provide wars with a sense of legitimacy and mobilize societies. When people are convinced to fight for an idea, the destructiveness of war intensifies. Is humanity inherently warlike? This is a deeply debated question. Thomas Hobbes argued that humans are selfish and aggressive by nature, making war inevitable. Jean-Jacques Rousseau countered that humans are naturally peaceful, and war arose with civilization and property. The truth is that humans are capable of both peace and war. Circumstances determine which prevails. Technology has magnified the scale and destructiveness of war. From stone axes to gunpowder, from nuclear bombs to cyber attacks, each stage has transformed the nature of conflict. Today, war is fought not only on battlefields but also on computer screens. Cyber warfare, with its struggle to control information, has opened a new era. Nation-states wage war to protect borders, display power, and reinforce national identity. War is one of the most dramatic ways for a state to prove its existence. It can also strengthen leaders politically. Throughout history, many rulers have created external enemies to mask internal problems, using war as a tool of control. Is peace possible? Yes, but it is fragile. The United Nations, diplomacy, trade agreements, and cultural exchange can strengthen peace. Yet lasting peace requires justice, equality, and fair distribution of resources. Peace is not merely the absence of war, but the presence of trust. Cultural and artistic reflections. War leaves its mark not only on battlefields, but also in art and culture. Homer's Iliad transforms the Trojan War into an epic narrative. Picasso's Guernica exposes the devastating impact of war on civilians. Cinema portrays both heroism and tragedy. Schindler's List, Apocalypse Now, and Saving Private Ryan reveal the deep scars war leaves on the human soul. Post-war reconstruction. The end of war does not mean the beginning of peace. Societies must rebuild destroyed cities, broken families, and traumatized individuals. After World War II, Europe's Marshall Plan symbolized not only economic recovery, but also psychological rebirth. Yet post-war trauma often lingers for generations, leaving permanent marks on collective memory. Media and propaganda. In the modern age, propaganda has become one of war's most powerful weapons. Media is used to justify war, demonize the enemy, and mobilize the public. Nazi Germany's propaganda machine, Soviet ideological broadcasts, and today's social media disinformation campaigns form the psychological front of war. Humanity wages war because resources are limited, identities clash, ideologies compete, and leaders seek power. Yet humanity can also fight for peace. War and peace are the two faces of human history. Which one prevails depends on our choices. Peace is not simply the silence of weapons, but the voice of justice. The more humanity experiences the pain of war, the more it understands the value of peace. But when memory fades, the same mistakes are repeated. That is why peace must be remembered, protected, and nurtured as a sacred trust.